Old Trafford is not sleeping this summer. In the next 14 minutes, we're breaking down 3 stories that could completely reshape Manchester United as we know them. A midfield monster they're chasing, a forward they're ready to sell, and their most important player whose future just got a whole lot more complicated. If you're a United fan, you need to watch this to the end, because the last story, that's the one that changes everything. Welcome back to Redbreak. Let's get into it. And before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now. We do this every single day for you. Every transfer and every update. Don't miss a thing. Right, let's start with the transfer story that has United fans absolutely buzzing right now. Sandro Tonali, 26 years old, Italian international, one of the most complete central midfielders in world football. And right now, Manchester United are in the race to sign him. Now, we've known for a while that United have been monitoring Tonali's situation, but here's where it gets really interesting. And this is the boost that United fans have been waiting for. Juventus, gone. The old lady, one of Tonali's most seriously linked suitors, has officially fallen out of the running. And the reason? They've missed out on Champions League football. Simple as that. No Champions League, no appeal. At least not for a player of Tonali's ambition and quality. Juventus needed that European stage to make their pitch. Without it, the door is effectively closed. And that matters enormously for United's chances. Because make no mistake, this is not a quiet little transfer battle. This is a war for one of the most sought-after midfielders on the planet. Arsenal are interested. Manchester City are watching. Real Madrid have been linked. PSG are circling. This is a player that every elite club in Europe wants on their books. So what makes United think they can win this fight? Well, first, the Carrick factor. United's new head coach has made it abundantly clear that he wants a specific profile in central midfield. Technically gifted, physically imposing, and capable of controlling the tempo of a game from deep. Tonali fits that mould almost perfectly. Think about what Tonali brings. He reads the game like a veteran. He recovers the ball relentlessly. He drives forward with purpose. He's not just a holding midfielder, he's a complete midfield engine. And at 26, he's hitting his absolute prime. Now, we also have to be honest about the full picture here. Tonali had that well-documented ban last year over gambling offences. He served it, he came back, and from what we've seen at Newcastle, he looks refreshed, hungry, and back to his very best. Newcastle, of course, won't let him go without a fight. They paid a huge fee to bring him to St James's Park. But football is football. If the right offer lands on the table, and we're talking big numbers here, every club has its price. And here's the thing United fans need to understand. With Juventus dropping out, the competition just got slightly lighter. Not easy, but lighter. That is a genuine, significant boost for United's chances. If Carrick gets his transfer window right and Tonali is the first piece of the puzzle, this midfield could look completely different by August. But before we get too excited about who's coming in, we need to talk about who might be going out. And this one has been a long time coming. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United. It's almost over. And the destination? FC Barcelona. Now, if you've been following Redbreak, you'll know we've been tracking this story for long. But right now, it has shifted into a completely different gear. According to Ben David Jacobs, Barcelona are preparing to start official talks with Manchester United this week to get a permanent deal done before the World Cup. Let that sink in. This week, official talks between two of the biggest clubs on the planet. And here's what makes this story even more fascinating. Barcelona have already agreed personal terms with Rashford. The player is on board. He wants this move. He wants Barcelona. The deal, as far as Rashford is concerned, is basically done on his side. Now it's about the clubs. And this is where it gets complicated. Rashford's current loan contract at Barcelona includes a €30 million release clause. 30 million. But here's the thing. Barcelona are going to try and negotiate that down. They're in a financially delicate situation, as we all know. Every euro counts for them. They're going to push United hard to accept a lower figure, and United have a decision to make. Do they hold firm on that 30 million euro clause, or do they accept less just to get Rashford's wages off the books and move on? Because let's be real, this situation has been toxic, not just this season, but going back further. Rashford was frozen out. He barely featured. When he did play, the performances were inconsistent. Under Amorim, there was clearly no future for him at Old Trafford. The loan to Barcelona was supposed to be a reset, and in some ways it has been. Rashford has looked more like himself at the Camp Nou. There's been glimpses of the electric, confident forward we all know he can be. And on his own Instagram yesterday, the man posted just 2 words: hungry for more. You tell me what that means. A player at Barcelona agreed terms for a permanent move, posting hungry for more the day before official negotiations begin. That's not an accident, that's a message. But let's not pretend this is a fairy tale for United fans. Losing Rashford permanently, a product of your own academy, a player who has worn that shirt since he was a teenager, it means something. It's the end of a chapter that could have been so much more. And here's the bigger question that nobody is really asking. If Barcelona get Rashford for below 30 million, or even below 25 million, is that actually good business for United? Or are they selling a generational talent for pennies on the pound because they just want the problem to go away? These are the decisions that define a club's direction. And right now, United's board needs to get this right. The talks start this week. We'll be watching closely. And the moment there's any update, we'll bring it straight to you on Redbreak. But speaking of United doing things right and doing things wrong, our final story today is the most important one, and it involves their captain, their talisman, the man who has carried this club on his back for years, and the man who Roy Keane just called a donkey. Stay with me, because this one is about to get very interesting. Bruno Fernandes, 21 assists in a single Premier League season, a record, a historic achievement, the kind of number that puts your name in the conversation with the all-time greats. And yet, here we are, talking about whether he'll even be at Manchester United next season. Let's start with the good news, because there is good news. According to Fabrizio Romano, and when Fabrizio speaks, you listen, Manchester United have officially started contract talks with Bruno Fernandes to keep him at the club. The conversations are underway. The club is determined to reward him. They want him to stay. They need him to stay. And that urgency is absolutely justified, because the situation around Bruno's contract is genuinely alarming for United fans. His current deal contains a release clause worth approximately £57 million. 57 million. For a player who just broke the all-time Premier League assists record in a single season. In today's transfer market, that is a bargain. That is almost criminally low. And the clubs who know this, they're already circling. Saudi Pro League clubs, with their enormous financial power, have been alerted. Top European sides have taken notice. For £57 million, you could trigger that clause and walk away with arguably the most creative midfielder in the Premier League. The interest is real. The danger is real. That is why United are acting now. That is why the talks have started immediately. Because if they let this drag into the summer, if they let that release clause sit there unaddressed, someone is going to pull the trigger, and then it's too late. Now here's what needs to happen. United must not just offer Bruno more money, they need to remove that release clause entirely, or at minimum, raise it to a figure that genuinely reflects his market value, something that makes clubs think twice, something in the 100 million plus range. Because 57 million for Bruno Fernandes in 2025, that's not a release clause, that's an invitation. But, and this is where the story takes a dramatic turn, not everyone is singing Bruno's praises right now. Roy Keane, Manchester United legend, a man who never ever holds back. He's gone after Bruno, and he's gone after him hard. Here's the context. After United's 3-2 win over Nottingham Forest on the penultimate weekend of the season, Bruno came under fire for how he was approaching the game. Keane accused him of putting his personal assist record ahead of the team's interests, of playing for the stat, of chasing history at the expense of what was best for Manchester United in that moment. He called it a circus act. He said Bruno was lying when the Portuguese pushed back. And then, in a social media post that set the internet on fire, Keane referred to Bruno Fernandes as a donkey. Now, let's be balanced here. Roy Keane is Roy Keane. He has strong opinions, he always has. And sometimes, just sometimes, he's right, even when it's uncomfortable to hear. His standards for what a Manchester United captain should look like are extraordinarily high. Maybe unrealistically high. But that comes from a place of genuine passion for this club. On the other hand, Bruno Fernandes just broke a record that has stood for decades. 21 assists in a Premier League season for a club that finished in the bottom half of the table. If he was prioritising individual glory over the team, the numbers suggest he was doing something right, even in a broken system. And the irony is this: Bruno setting that record, Bruno being the last man standing with genuine world-class quality in this United squad, that is exactly why the contract talks matter so much. If United lose him, they don't just lose a captain, they lose the heartbeat of the club. The Bruno Fernandes situation is not just a transfer story. It's a statement about what kind of club Manchester United want to be. Are they a club that protects their best players, rewards them properly and builds around them? Or are they a club where even the greatest performers eventually get pushed out the door? The talks are underway. The intent is clear. But in football, intent means nothing until the pen hits the paper. Get it done, United. Get it done. So let's bring this all together. Tonali is within reach, and Juventus dropping out is a genuine boost that should not be underestimated. This is United's summer to make a move. Rashford to Barcelona is happening. The question is just the price, and United better not sell themselves short. And Bruno, the heart of this club, is in contract talks that could define the entire direction of Manchester United's rebuild. Get him tied down, remove that release clause, and let the man keep breaking records. This summer is going to be one of the most important in Manchester United's recent history, and we will be here every single day, covering every twist, every turn, every update as it happens. If you're not subscribed to Redbreak yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button right now. Ring the notification bell, because you do not want to miss what's coming next. And I want to hear from you. Would you start Tonali? Is selling Rashford the right call? And do you think Keane was out of line with Bruno, or did he have a point? Drop it all in the comments below. Every single one of them gets read. This is Redbreak. We'll see you in the next one.